So all that I've really got is a couple of updates on, it's that time of year whenever people are starting to report how they did their last quarter and whatnot. So I've got some data on how Microsoft did and how Sony did, just to give a little bit of info in that area. So on the Xbox side, they said Xbox hardware revenue jumped 232% year over year.
Sure.
So that's good news for them.
Yeah,
keeping with that, they said that Xbox overall revenue increased 50% year over year, and that software and services were up 34% compared to Q3 2020. So that's great stuff for them. Obviously, they've been definitely made an about face as it was in the Xbox One generation with the newer hardware that they have. And then obviously, as we've talked about numerous times, Game Pass has been doing great for them and seems to continue to be doing well for them. So good news there. And then on the Sony front, they gave out some information as well. And they said that Sony shipped 3.3 million more systems the last quarter. That brings their total of PS5 up to 7.8 million. And for comparison, that during that same time frame, they also sold 7.6 million PS4. So not only are PS4 still selling, but the PS5 that nobody can get their hands on is outselling.
That's crazy.
Right? So
that's
insane. that's kind of nuts. They did say that they have 61.4 million PS4 and PS5 games that they sold during that time. There's 7.9 million were first-party exclusives. So good deal for them. And they also said that when it comes to like PlayStation Plus, which is one of their subscription models, that they have 47.6 million subscribers and 109 million monthly active subscribers. Now that is up from last year, the same time they had 41.5 million subscribers to it. But in terms of active users, they actually went down a little bit. It was 114. It's now down to 109 million. I mean, it's still a lot, but it is a difference, and it's in the wrong direction, whereas PS Plus went in the right direction for them. So I think we can all say that gaming is still very healthy.
Yes.
Yep.
And I it's one of those things where it's like, shoot, like when we had all this time during all the pandemic stuff and so many people were staying home, seems like the most opportune time to be doing it. But it's like, shoot, it almost makes me wonder, like, would these be that far off, or would they be even better if people could be out and about and doing things and stuff and didn't have to worry about job stuff throughout the year and all that kinds of stuff? And then if they didn't have, like, can you imagine where Sony and Microsoft would be right now with their sales on hardware if there wasn't supply constraints?
Right,
Oh,
right.
That's insane.
It'd be crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I hope people are taking that into consideration. I remember we talked about it back in December when, I had some dads telling me, like, Sony is ruining Christmas. And you're like, come on, man. They're probably trying their absolute best in the face of everything that's going on. So
Yeah, they would love to be able to sell more units.
Yeah, exactly. They're not shying away from the money, baby.
Right.
Come on,
Around Christmas.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course.
Yeah, that's really, really great. I love that. You know what's interesting is that, like, we've always kind of been able to tout the numbers that gaming makes more money than music and movies combined, right? That's always like the gotcha thing when you're a gamer and you're talking to people who are like, "It's so silly," and you're like, "Yeah, but it's a behemoth of a business," and that's when businesses are booming.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's like when everybody's going to the movies, when everybody's streaming music. That's when music and movies were at their best. Gaming still beat it out. And so I wonder what in the last year, like what the multiple of, you know what I'm saying? Like movies and music probably stayed somewhere in the same as far as just the stuff. But like albums haven't been released all like that. Tours haven't been going out all like that. And so I wonder just how much, and then we saw gaming breaking records, obviously, because everybody's home. So you're like, goodness gracious, I wonder in what multiple gaming was now beating music and movies when it was already beating them combined.
Yeah.
You would have to imagine over 2020, 2021, it had to have been just slaughterhouse.
Oh, yeah. I think the
And
top.
I almost think this is.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Ed. I'm
I
sorry.
was going to say, I think the top film in last month grossed $44. So it's brutal out there.
Yeah, and it was starring 50 Cent, so it was actually $44.50.
Hey, that's right. I was just going to say, what's funny, I'm curious and I think this is going to happen with video games anyway, is a lot of what happened with COVID and people being in is that it pulled a lot of future growth for different sectors and like all of it was like 30+% increase, where that normal increase would be probably boring over the next 5 years. But with video games, I feel like it brought it up and out. And I just feel like video games are just going to keep, because now people are getting that bug, and despite whether or not they're out and about or not, they're still probably kind of like me, like they're still going to come back to it at some point and make time for it.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a continual thing. I'm kind of excited to see if the amount of subscribers to Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, like we'll continue to see a consistent increase in that. And that's what I'm looking forward to, because I think it really brought out how cool video games are nowadays.
Yeah, and I think too it's going to bring Chris's dream to fruition even quicker, because I think Hollywood is going to be able to plan around things being day and date at home. I think we'll slowly see some big budget things go to theaters first and then come home. But as we saw with Wonder Woman, as we saw with King Kong and some other movies that came out on the day it was releasing to streaming platforms, I wonder if they'll be able to judge the money that they'll be able to make, because I would imagine, and I don't know if HBO Max and all that's just like Netflix, where Netflix pays Dave Chappelle X amount of dollars regardless what it actually ends up doing. They're kind of going off an algorithm of what he should do. We'll pay him this. We'll make some money. He'll make a bunch of money. Now, he talked about getting paid $20 million, which like is a lot for a person, but not a lot for a movie. You know what I'm saying? Movies need to make into the hundreds of millions of dollars. Some of these movies, like Fast 9, I have no idea, because of how ridiculous it looks and how many people they brought back and the special effects, how much money that movie needs to make. And so it wouldn't surprise me that movie just goes to theaters first and tries to get that big chunk of money, and then comes to streaming quicker than it would have 2 years ago.
Well,
so
and I think
interesting to see.
Didn't Warner Brothers say for 2022 they're like, yeah, we're not doing that day and date anymore?
Did they come out and say that? I knew that they were doing it this year. Did they say next year?
I think,
They signed some deal with one of the theater chains in particular to say that they would release first on the theater. I think that the window of time is shorter before it can go to whatever, but it's not. They did say that it's they did not say we're not releasing them day and date on HBO Max. What they did say is, we made a deal with this theater to release movies over there. So you put the dots together. It's like, then that means they're not coming day and date to HBO Max.
Right. And typically what happens is, you have opening weekend. If it does well, they'll extend it for maybe two more weeks in the theater. Then they'll switch it over to digital HD and on demand. That's usually been the trend. So that's why, opening weekend's always so important for so many films, because it gives you that little window of longevity. Do you remember when back in the day DVDs came out like 8-9 months after the theatrical release?
Oh yeah,
well, those days are no more, right? Mm-hmm. Those days, like, that's archaic compared to what we have now. So I think Warner Brothers is like, we still got to pay attention to our movie theaters because they've been around for so long, and then we'll switch it to HD. So I mean, it's going to be very interesting, because to me, I'm still a big movie goer. I work in movies, and I still like the event of going to movies. I don't want to always see new films on my couch, because I can see anything on my couch at any time. Mm-hmm. I'd like to take Piper and Lauren out, go have like dinner at the theater, and watch a movie together. That's always kind of a family event that we do. We'll see.
I get that.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it I know it's not going to be 2022, but I feel like this was, if nothing else, the proving ground that it can work, and I'm hoping that it ends up going more to where it becomes the whole day and date kind of thing. Again, to be clear, while this is my preference and I have no desire to go to a movie theater, I've never been like, man, come on, Netflix or HBO or whatever, make them day and date just part of my subscription. Like, that was never my... Like, I want them to make their money, and I want the people who love the theater experience to have that as an option. I want them to do pretty much the way that Disney Plus is doing it. Like, when Black Widow comes out in July now, I think it's going to be, I have to be subscribed to Disney Plus, and then on top of that, it's a charge.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Like, I'm going to pay for that because I want to watch it at home because I'm really interested in Black Widow. I'm cool paying a premium because, in my opinion, I'm getting a premium experience because I get to watch it in my pajamas on my couch as I want to and pause and go to the bathroom and do all that. So I don't mind paying extra for it. And I think I'm in the minority, but I feel like the proof is in the pudding that, hey, there are people like me that will probably be down for that. And then you have the theater option for whoever wants that one too. That's how I'm hoping that it eventually evens out to, it doesn't even have to be 50-50. Maybe it's like 60-40, 40% of the movies day and date, but 60% of the really big guys, maybe they do whatever. Because I know they got to make their money so they can keep doing it.
I'm glad you said that, Chris, because I'm with you on paying that a little additional premium because Disney started that with Mulan.
Yep.
With the live action, and there was a lot of people like, I got to pay extra for this, but I think
and you're like, yes,
a lot of people
$30 for your whole family of 7.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That
right,
would have been,
right.
You know, 150 bones. Everybody go see it with popcorn and all that.
And I think and that's the point I'm making. I think once people kind of saw the value of it, you know, on top of your subscription now, whether you got it for free through Verizon or however you got your Disney Plus, I do appreciate the fact, you're going to pay a little bit more of a premium, but this is a movie that, you know, should have been in theaters. It should be doing great at the box office, and for far less for your family of 7, everybody can watch it. So I like that a lot.
Yeah,
I don't think it's. I mean, we'll see that this summer with a lot of Disney's films, so we'll see what happens. It'll be cool.
Yeah, don't underestimate how much extra I'll pay to be a little more lazy. You know,
Yay!
Like you have DoorDash bring you Arby's. That's $3 more. I'm like, for $3, I'm like, yeah, you can bring that to me. I'm fine with that.
I spend that at gas waiting at the red light that never changes that one street that I have to go through.
And you'll leave it on my doorstep and I don't have to talk to anybody. Yeah, I'll pay $3 for that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Here's my $3. Enjoy.